Chums Podcast. I am your host once again, the glorious, magnificent Paulus. And with me, as always, is the controversial, spiteful, vindictive. I'm joking. No. Well, joining me as always. Joining me as always is my co-host, Mr. Rawls. Mr. Rawls, I'll start off how we always start off the podcast by asking, how are you? What you've been up to, and what you've been playing.
Yes, I am. Well, it's a miserable time of year in the UK. It's just constant grey and rainy weather. And also there's been a storm apparently named after a Lord of the Rings character winding through the country of late, making it a little bit blowy outside. So haven't really been doing much other than going to work and then coming home and staying here, where it's, not blowy. Playing, what have I been playing? I've been playing Trails of Cold Steel because I've been trying to play the Trails series for 14 years now, and I'm currently on game 6 in the series, so it's taken me a while. I'm playing that. I'm playing Indiana Jones. Just got to Shanghai. There's the last part I got to, which I think is about 2/3 of the way through, maybe, I think. So getting there. And yeah, that's about it. Watching a bit of anime. I watched Parasite yesterday, the South Korean film that won the Oscar a few years back, because I'd never actually seen the film all the way through. I'd just seen kind of bits of it. So I decided to watch that yesterday because it's on Netflix. And yeah, that's about it. About yourself?
Well, I've been busy trying to level my camera out. It looks like I'm slanting. Look. It looks like I'm living in the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and it's just like I look really slanted. I just never can seem to get this camera level.
I know what you're talking about. I've been to your place. It is you walk in and you're like this.
Yeah, well, it is in your old
subsidence for you.
It is built in your own hometown, so it's kind of like how they live around here. So yeah, but other than that, trying to fix my camera. What have I been? I haven't been playing anything, funny enough. Not one thing. Haven't recorded, haven't played, haven't really watched anything since we last recorded the pod. I've had my mum is living with me for temporarily until her new flat is ready for her to fully move in. I believe it pretty much is finished, but I think she's got a bit comfortable here now. She's just not going. So I haven't really had the time to play or anything. And my working hours is a bit antisocial, so there's not much free time I've had. So the only thing I've done for is for the channel primarily is record this podcast. But hopefully that will change soon when I have access to my console and more free time to sort of play stuff. I should hopefully be playing more because there's a lot to come. There's a lot out there to play. Obviously I want to get more of Indiana Jones to get through that, and maybe a new game that got dropped, which we're going to talk about in a bit. So hopefully I'll get some of that. And I got a ton of games, man. I want to play a bit of Stray. I've been really looking forward to that, and I got it now on Xbox. I had it on my wish list on Steam, but I haven't got around to buying it. But now I've got it on Xbox, so I'll probably play it on that. But yeah, that's what I've been up to, man. And not very exciting. I haven't watched any anime, haven't watched any TV shows. Yeah, just sort of living a boring life at the moment, sadly. But yeah, hopefully that will change. February, new month coming up. This month January can't be over soon enough. It's been a very long month because like some people get paid early on the Christmas period, which I did, and it's good at the time, but when
then you've got to go like over a month to get paid again.
So yeah, it's been a long time. But yeah, I'm looking forward to February, man. I'm really we got LAGC.
We've got some stuff lined up.
Yeah, we got LAGC coming up, London Anime and Game Con, which will be there for the whole 3 days. tiring last time. Do you remember? We were quite knackered then, weren't we?
It was because
Um,
we're old now.
yeah, and we drink beer and we walk around, and that's not a good combination. And our age as well. But yeah, we'll be there. So if you see us there, say hello. We'll be covering all 3 days. We'll hopefully try and get more footage of all the stuff that's going on various stages. So we're not just confined filming one particular stage. We want to sort of we're going to be like a mission. We each got our mission to go and film various different parts of the of the each stages. So we're going to be doing that. But yeah, it's going to be good. But let's move on to. I was going to say gaming news, but this is the topic we're going to talk about. We talked about it last time on anticipation for the Xbox Dev Direct, and it has come. It's gone, and yeah. What did you think of it? So,
It's a very, very good show. Yeah, I think it might, in some respects, it might be the best one yet. And it's a pretty high bar because both of the previous ones have been really good as well.
mm-hmm.
Obviously, one of them gave us Hi-Fi Rush, which Microsoft then went and murdered the studio. But yeah, it's a really good show. Um, there were rumors beforehand about what the secret game was going to be, and nobody seemed to want to actually. It seemed like a lot of insiders knew what it was, but they'd all kind of decided not to leak it. I remember seeing Jez Corden was like, "Oh, it's a game from a legendary Japanese franchise that hasn't been around in a while. People are going to be really excited about it." And he was like, "I hope nobody leaks it." And it seemed like everyone was like, "Yeah, you know what? We'll just kind of let it happen." Um, but there was kind of discussion going on about what it could be, and generally what was put forward as the most likely game is what it ended up actually being.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of doesn't matter in the sense that they didn't leak it at that point. But yeah, it was still seeing it in action was still quite a big surprise. It was good to see it as the devs wanted to present it to us. It's very
Mm-hmm.
nice.
I think both our guesses were kind of off. So what did we guess? Do you remember? Did we say that on the podcast, or did we just say that off
I
air?
think I think we talked about what it could be, but I don't think we
Mm,
made any guesses. But
mm,
yeah, neither of us got it right if
uh,
we did guess.
yeah, but I'm looking forward to the games. It's going to be a stacked year for Xbox, and I'm glad they're staggering it out. The only thing I'm a bit annoyed with Xbox, apart from the possibility or the high likelihood that it's going to go, most of the games are going to go multi-platform, is the lack of advertising for their games. They got a big RPG coming out, which was showcased on the Dev Direct, Avowed, and I had not really seen advertising outside of the sphere of like gaming and social media, like out in the wild, out in the street. The common man has not really seen the game being advertised, and it's been a weakness of Xbox this past few years of them not really pushing their games in terms of a big marketing campaign. So it's kind of nuts that they're not really doing it as well as say PlayStation. So I don't know why that is. Is that sort of like it must be something from the head honchos not to sort of waste their time
Don't
on
tell anyone
traditional
about your
media.
products.
Yeah, I mean they it's advertised on social media, but
That's it.
what about
All they
that's
do is
about it.
online advertising.
Hmm.
But it's like,
I can't.
oh, our products aren't selling. Should we tell people about them? No, let's not
No.
do that.
Traditional. There's a place for traditional marketing. I mean,
If there wasn't, then Sony and Nintendo wouldn't be putting TV ads out and
exactly.
like bus ads and all that
Mm-hmm.
stuff. They still do it, so obviously it has an impact. And
Mm-hmm.
Microsoft has just completely given up on that. But they
Mm-hmm.
don't want people to know they sell products. It's
Mm.
just
It,
a whole
it,
other topic we've got into on this podcast
yeah,
a few times because it annoys the pair of us.
but yeah, Avowed is coming out. That's coming out in April, right?
Nope, it's coming out in about 3 weeks.
which one's coming out in April? There's one of them coming out in April. Is that the secret game? Well, they should
No,
really do it.
Avowed wasn't in the Dev Direct because was it in last year's? But it's coming
Oh
out very soon. So the
yeah.
Dev
So we
Direct was
it had South of Midnight.
yeah, that's out in April.
That's the one I was thinking of.
Yeah,
But yeah, let's talk about South of April. South of Midnight. What did you think of it?
I think it looks really good.
Yeah.
They put out like a 3 minute story trailer just after the Dev Direct as well, which is really good.
Hmm.
Which seems to have been completely missed. Most people just didn't even seem to realize there was a story trailer. So go and
Hmm.
watch it if you want to look at it. But yeah, I think it looks, I've been kind of up on it for a while now because,
Hmm.
the art style looks crazy. It's kind of an underserved kind of setting as well, like the American
Hmm.
Deep South and kind of like um, sort of folk mythology and stuff. Some of they've been putting like boss designs on Twitter and stuff like the art design side of it, and they just look really creative and interesting.
Hmm.
The music sounds great. It looks great. I think it's going to be really good. We talked last time out about people saying, "Oh, it looks so basic and everything," and about what a stupid criticism that is because most games you're still doing the same stuff from game to day, from game to game.
Hmm.
Especially like third-person action adventures, you're jumping and you're climbing and you're double jumping and you're doing a bit of combat and stuff like that. Which looks, the gameplay looks pretty solid to me. And the world, I think, is what's going to sell it, the world and the art and the music. And I think it looks really good.
Yeah, it's you don't get many games based on the American Deep South. So it's kind of a different thing, that sort of mythology there. So it's looking good. The gameplay looks good. The combat looks good. It just generally looks good, and I'm glad there's some new IP out there, and it's sort of based in a world that you don't. It's not really been explored really before, and the music seems to play like the theme of the Deep South and that sort of like the musical heritage of it and everything. So that's good. Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing that, and what did you think about that sort of like the intentional choppy frame rate, this sort of stop motion frame rate? I know that could be turned on and off,
I
but will
think
you
it
be
can be,
will you be having that on?
I think it can only be turned off in gameplay. I think it's still there in cutscenes if you do turn it off. But I
I don't
can
know.
see
Did
why it'd be divisive.
I didn't I see a cutscene with it didn't look like that sort of stop animation was on it
Maybe I'm
when the
wrong
main
then.
character maybe the when the main character was talking to someone and
Mm,
it looked really smooth. I might
maybe you can then. So I remember they came out a while ago and they said that you could turn it off, but it would stay on for cutscenes. Maybe they've tweaked it again since then,
yeah,
because
maybe.
a lot of people are quite negative about it. And
Hmm.
in a sense, I can get it. Like they're going for like the through the Spider-Verse
Yeah,
kind of
that
look,
sort of look. Yeah.
which worked really well for that film.
Hmm.
Um, but then in a game, it's different because you're controlling it, and generally you want your game to look a bit smooth, and it could just kind of trick your brain into it being a bit like jerky and as if like the frame rate's dropping and stuff. So I think it would take some getting used to. I'm going to try it out with it on and just see how I feel about it. But I'm not against the idea of it. I'm fine with it in cutscenes, but I'll see how it goes when
Yeah,
I get to play it.
I'm just looking at the trailer now and it kind of looks smooth.
Mm, maybe
Yeah,
they've
and what
changed it then.
she's talking to, is that her mum or someone? Maybe. Anyway, I should stop looking at that. Yeah, it's gonna be good. What else did
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. April
they
8th, I think that's coming out.
April 8th. So get on it. Yeah, the Expedition 33. What do you think?
Yeah, that is also April. I think that's the 24th.
Hmm.
I think it looks great. I think it was revealed. I think it was first revealed in an Xbox summer showcase. Can't remember if it
Hmm.
was last year or the year before, but ever since it's revealed, I've been thinking, God, that looks really good. It's
Hmm.
a French team making sort of their take on the JRPG, but like full on like AAA spectacle, and they've added some sort of like real time moments to the turn based combat, so you can like parry attacks and stuff. I think it looks really good. Really excited for it. The story sounds interesting. About some like crazy godlike being that paints a number on a monolith, and then all the people of that age die. And
Mm-hmm.
about an expedition going to try and stop that from happening. I think the art design looks amazing. Again, it's like a sort of setting you don't really see very much. It's like Belle Epoque France mixed with like fantasy land, and it just looks really good.
Mm-hmm.
Very much looking forward to that as well. And they showed in the direct that there's a world map, there's an over map like the old, like you don't really see in JRPGs these days. And you have like a creature who can like serve as an airship to get you around. Which, yeah, it just looks like a full on love letter to like classic JRPGs. And yeah, the setting and the story is intriguing to me, so I'm looking forward to that.
Excellent, excellent. Doom, the new Doom game, Dark
Doom,
Ages. Mm. Your thoughts?
Doom, the Dark Ages. I'm excited because it's Doom, and I really like Doom, but it looks very different from Eternal, which I think we mentioned last time on the last podcast. I really like Doom 2016, and obviously I've played all the other Dooms. I've grown up with them. Remember playing the shareware version of Doom on the family PC in like 1994, like a year after it came out. And but Doom Eternal was like very, very good. That's one of my favorite FPS campaigns of the last decade. And this looks very, very different. It's a lot more grounded. I hesitate to say slower because they did show that you can actually there's a slider for game speed, so you can turn it up to 150% if you want it to play faster, which is interesting. I might well be doing that because I love the speed of Eternal, but a lot of that's down to like the movement set in Eternal as well, double jumping and dashing and everything. Feels very acrobatic, whereas this one it looks a lot more sort of boots on the ground, and the levels are a lot wider. They've said it's like the largest levels ever in a Doom game. They almost sound like semi-open world from what they're saying. And you can go and like just wander around and find things on your own without sort of just following a linear path. So I'm very intrigued by it. The fact that you can get into like a 10-story mech or ride a cybernetic dragon is very interesting. I like the look of that. And it will just, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of confusing about some of the stuff they said because a lot of you've got like three melee weapons and it's all like contextual from what they say. So it's kind of, they've wanted to try and like simplify the controls because they felt Eternal went a bit too far the other way. And I don't know if it's like you have to equip each melee weapon, but then the uses of them are contextual. So like if you're a distance away from an enemy, then you throw your shield, or if one's attacking you with a parryable attack, then you just automatically parry it with the button press. I don't know. It's gonna have to get hands on with it to figure it out. Um, I mean, it looks great, and just gonna have to wait and see. But we don't have to wait too long because that is out in May, I believe, sort of mid-May, I
Mm.
think. Yeah, May 15th for that.
Okay.
But yeah, the presentation for that was Hugo Martin, which he knows how to present this stuff. It was a very engaging presentation. He broke it down into like combat exploration and one other thing. What was it? A story, I think. And yeah, I probably should. I've watched the Dev Direct once live as it was happening. I probably should rewatch these things to pay more attention and pick out more detail. But I'm excited for it. I feel like I need to go hands on with that one more than the other ones that were in the Dev Direct.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but let's go. Okay, let's talk about the secret, not secret game, but the unannounced game,
The
which
mystery.
was which was Ninja Gaiden
It
4.
was indeed.
So that completely took me by surprise. I didn't even think of that, to be honest.
Mm.
Yeah. What do you think? Like, was it a good surprise? Were you pleased with the announcement and
Well,
with all the
I was kind of following this stuff in the run up to the Dev Direct, and it seemed like most people assumed that it was going to be Ninja Gaiden based on some sort of clues that some insiders had kind of nudged out there. So it turned out that was the correct guess. So
Mhm.
as soon as it started, it went into the Team Ninja logo. And I've played all the Ninja Gaiden games. I've been playing Dead or Alive for years. So I recognize that as soon as you see like the storm swept water, and I'm like, oh, that's Team Ninja. So okay, it's definitely Ninja Gaiden then. But it looked a lot better than I expected it to. I haven't. Um, I think the last game I played, I don't know if, to be honest, I'm not up to date on Koei Tecmo's teams, but the last game of theirs I played was the Final Fantasy Souls-like thing, Stranger of Paradise, and I did not like it. Um, so I wasn't when people were saying it's Ninja Gaiden, I was like, I guess that would be kind of cool. I'm not super excited about it. And obviously they've done re-releases for all the games and kind of made them worse each time. And Ninja Gaiden 3, which I haven't played, is was apparently not very good. So I was like, I guess it's a surprise, but I'm not that fussed. But it does look very good. And I think part of that is it's co-developed by Platinum Games, which is what the real surprise was. It's not just Team Ninja at Koei Tecmo, it's Platinum Games as well, which I think has given some people pause for thought because a lot of like big names from Platinum have been leaving recently, and people have been speculating whether Platinum Games is actually going to still exist soon. But it seems like they are, and it looks really good. It looks a lot better visually than I expected it to look, and it
Mhm.
does look very kind of Platinum Games. Um, yeah, and you play as two characters, I think. Well, I assume so anyway. There's a new
New character. Yeah.
protagonist. Can't even
Yeah.
say the word. It's a new protagonist. Jesus, I can't speak today.
Protagonist.
Yes, that
Protagonist.
called
Yeah.
Yakumo.
Yeah.
I don't know if you only play as him or if you play as him and Ryo
Okay.
Hayabusa. I
Mm.
haven't read. There's like a big blog post on Xbox Wire about it. I'm just kind of skimming through it. I don't know if you play as both or if you only play as Yakumo, but it looks really good. And yeah, Platinum Games involvement definitely has me interested.
Yeah.
And then
I assume you're gonna play as Rio. I assume
yeah, I'd
so.
imagine you must
I
do at
imagine
some
you
point,
will.
surely.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Um.
then that they
Yeah.
didn't stop there because
No.
they also announced Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. So basically a remake of Ninja Gaiden 2 from back on the 360, which I have up on my shelf. Um, and it was a shadow drop, which is kind
Mm.
of nuts. And it's remade in Unreal Engine 5. I
Hmm.
haven't downloaded it yet because it's nearly 90 gigabytes, which is
Big old
crazy for
game.
a remake of
Yeah.
Ninja Gaiden 2, but I'll get around to it soon.
Ninja Gaiden 2 Black came out on the OG Xbox.
Ninja Gaiden Black came out on the OG Xbox, the
Oh,
first one.
okay. Oh.
Um, so the first one was Ninja Gaiden, I think in 2004, and then Black, which was like an enhanced version, I think the year after that, or maybe 2006.
Hmm.
And then Ninja Gaiden 2 came out in 2008, I think, on
Hmm.
360. And then they ported it to PS3 with the Sigma version, which most people think is worse. And they've done the same with Ninja Gaiden 1 as well. They've done a Sigma version of that, which I've actually got it on the PS Vita on that shelf over there. Um, yeah, and then there's the Master Collection, which has 1, 2, and 3 in it, which is in Game Pass if anyone wants to catch up on this before 4 comes out in the autumn, I think they said it's coming out.
Gotta wait
But
a
they're
while.
all the yeah, but they're all the Sigma versions, so you're probably better off just playing Ninja Gaiden Black on a backwards compatibility on Xbox. It's actually on sale at the moment for £4.59. So if you don't have it, go and buy it because it's very good. And then yeah, then play Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, which is in Game Pass, just dropped straight in. And yeah, I think that was probably the bigger surprise because
Yeah.
some people were hinting that it was new Ninja Gaiden, but they didn't say anything about like a shadow drop of a remake of Ninja Gaiden 2. So that was a bit of a oh damn moment,
Mm.
which was
Oh
quite nice.
shit. So what so overall we think the dev was a pretty good. It was a good one.
Yeah, it's a really
Uh
very good show.
very good show. Um I want to discuss quickly like taping onto the direct the fact that it's good that they shadow dropped it, but it is coming out and I know like the new Ninja Gaiden is published by Xbox, right?
Yeah, which
Yeah,
is
is that
a weird thing. It's
yeah,
actually Xbox global publishing project.
yeah. Am I right to think am I right to say I might be wrong? I probably am that new Ninja Gaiden 4 is going to be multi-platform or is it just the remakes?
I think they've already said it's coming to everything. Well,
Yeah.
to PS5 anyway. I don't know about Switch 2. Might
Mm,
get announced for Switch 2 once games start getting
mm,
announced for that. But yeah, I mean, it's it's another sort of feather in the cap of Microsoft going essentially full third party at this point.
yeah.
Which we'll touch on that again in a minute because Phil Spencer came out and did a couple of interviews after this as well, where he just basically said, yeah, everything. But yeah, surprisingly, it's a Xbox global publishing project, and one of those interviews that Phil Spencer did with Gamertag Radio, which is where Paris Lilly is most known from. Um, everybody in the Xbox community knows Paris.
Mm,
So
nice.
him and I think the other guy's Danny Pena. They did an interview with him, and he said, "Oh yeah, we've kind of been trying to get this going for the 6 or 7 years by talking to like Team Ninja and Koei Tecmo, and then we figured we could get Platinum involved as well." So it seems like the entire thing has kind of come about because of Xbox pushing for a new Ninja Gaiden. Um, so I wonder if it would have even happened if like Xbox hadn't been pushing for it because I assume they're footing the development bill if they're publishing it and they're the ones that kind of went out and said, "Why don't you make this?" So it's interesting um, for Xbox to kind of pick up, not even pick up, maybe like get the ball rolling on like a third party game. A few years ago, this probably would have been a huge deal because it would have been exclusive and people would have been losing their minds about it. But I think it's already been announced for PS5. I think it was announced for PS5 literally in, don't know if it was in the, don't know if the PS5 logo was in the direct or not. I didn't really look, but either it was or it was like, clarified immediately afterwards. But yeah, Ninja Gaiden Black 2 Black is also on PS5. That launched on PS5 the same time as it dropped into Game Pass on Xbox and PC.
Yeah, yeah. It's I think yeah, they're pretty much confirmed that they won all their future and past games to start coming multi-platform. I know they've talked to Nintendo, and I know probably they'll have some games coming out on the Nintendo Switch too. That got announced, yeah.
It did. That got announced in between podcast episodes
Yeah.
with a very
Um,
underwhelming trailer,
very underwhelming. I mean, it looks like the Switch screen's
but bigger.
bigger. It's bigger, it's a couple of different functions, and yeah, it just looks like a Switch. Just a bit looks like a Switch XL or something like that. Yeah.
Mm.
I don't know. They didn't give much in the way of performance or capabilities, have they yet? So
Didn't even really
I
show
think,
any games. They showed like
yeah,
a few short clips of what looks to be a new Mario Kart, and that's
God,
it.
another Mario Kart. People lose their shit for that. Oh, sorry. I
Sonic
love.
Racing Transformed is better.
Well,
Don't at
it's
me.
is Nintendo do seem to make the same sort of game. You
See
know,
what
Mario
they should do with Mario
Kart's the
Kart. And
same.
we're getting wildly off topic here, but they should just make one. Well, I mean, I suppose they've kind of done this anyway in the way that it's shook out. But put out one Mario Kart for each generation, and then just keep
Just
updating
add
it
to it.
and tracks and
Yeah.
stuff. They
Yeah.
kind of. I mean, we've had the same Mario Kart for 2 gens now because Mario Kart 8 came out on the Wii U. and then they just ported it to the Switch as Mario Kart 8
Mm.
Deluxe. They did put out DLC, but not a great deal, really. I mean, if you're going to put a new Mario Kart out at the start of a gen, just like keep adding to it over the entire gen. Just end up with hundreds of tracks in there and like 50 races or something. Why not treat it
Add
as a
new
platform?
add new characters whenever. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I guess we'll see.
Yeah, don't know
But
how it's gonna
yeah,
run, what's the storage capabilities, anything like that.
it literally told us
Uh
nothing about it. Just here's what it
uh
looks like now. Go away and leave us alone.
piss off sort of thing.
And people have been losing their minds
It
online about when they're going to announce the thing. There was like so many threads on Reset Era where people were just like, "Is it going to be this week? Is it going to be next week? Is it going to be? It can't be this week because then they're having their quarterly results and all this stuff." And I was just like, "Just relax. It's not going to be immediately available. They'll announce it when they announce it, and then you're still going to have to wait to get the thing." So, and then after all that, they put out like a 2 minute trailer that just shows what it looks like. And it's just
mm,
like, well, so all that sort of wailing and gnashing of teeth, and now you still got to wait another 3 months before they tell you anything about the damn thing.
I wasn't I mean I liked the Switch when it came out. I own one. I haven't played it in a very long time. And
So
it's just been out for so long, so long, and it's just like I just sort of forgot about it. I still get games for it, but I just never it's never my first I always forget I have one until I look over to my bedside table and go, oh, there's my Switch there. Um, and the new Switch just does just look like the old one, Switch 2. New name, the very imaginative name, like the Wii and the Wii U. So Switch 2. So they're keeping that sort of basic sort of, they're not sort of coming up with a new name or new design. It is pretty much a Switch, just bigger.
I mean, it makes
So
sense
far,
to call it.
so what I know. But
Hmm.
when I thought they were going to release a new console, maybe they every year they sort of change it up a bit,
Hmm.
slightly. But I guess it works for them, and we'll just have to see. You could say that's the same with Xbox and PlayStation. It's just a more powerful version of the new one, but the design sort of changes, and that design just looks just similar to the old Switch. Who knows? Like, obviously there's going to be more functions and more capabilities for it, but we'll just have to see. But yeah, that the Phil Spencer's been talking to Nintendo, and so games are going to be coming out of Xbox games will be coming out on Nintendo. Maybe they'll have a game. Do they have a Game Pass app on there? They don't, do they? Maybe don't know why I thought that, but maybe that's going to be part of it. They're going to like sort of have a launcher of Xbox on them. Maybe it'll save a lot of money, like doing a physical version of it. You can just download it digitally via an application.
Yeah, I don't
So
kind of trust Microsoft to do physical versions of stuff anyway. They can't even
they're not
bother to do
doing
it.
one for Ninja Gaiden. PlayStation's getting a physical version.
Yeah, I mean, that's sort of I guess, a second party, if you want to use that slightly made up term, where
Mm,
it's not a game they own, but it's a game they're publishing, where you should still be doing a bloody a physical version of it. But they're not doing them for their own friggin' first party games. There's no avowed physical. You can
mm,
buy an empty steelbook for it, but there's no disc in it. Um, it does have some other goodies like a map and stuff. I think there might be a soundtrack as well. So it's kind of like a limited edition without the game. Um, South of Midnight, no physical for that. I bet you if that gets ported to PlayStation and Switch, it will get a physical. They just, I don't know. It feels like they've just given up on many fronts. But yeah, the two interviews that Phil did, there was that one with Gamertag Radio, where Paris did ask him, like, why should people buy an Xbox if you're going to be putting all your games on other platforms, which is what the entire community is asking right now. Why would you
mm.
buy a platform with fewer games rather than one that has everything on it or close to everything on it? And yeah, so Phil kind of gave a bit of a mealy-mouthed response about how he wanted people to choose Xbox hardware because it's the best or because it offers other benefits or something, and that's really not going to happen. People are going to look at what games are available on the platforms they're already on, or the platforms that their friends are on, or they're just going to look across the board and go, PS5 has PlayStation games and Xbox games. Why would I buy an Xbox that only has Xbox games? Um, I honestly don't see what they're trying to do, but it's for them to figure out. But then he
Um,
also did another interview with Destin, formerly of IGN, and Destin asked him, "Can you at least confirm that Starfield won't go multi-platform?" And he said, "No, I can't." So obviously, like that's probably it's probably being ported already. Um, yeah, I don't understand. We've talked about this at length. Neither of us understand what the strategy is other than killing Xbox hardware, which will probably kill Xbox as a brand because that's where the majority of their revenue comes from. But it's up to them to figure it out, I guess.
it's a sad situation because I feel like they're finally picking up some momentum. I find like,
That's the
oh
annoying thing.
yeah, it's it seems to be there's a big positivity around Xbox as a gaming publisher and the hardware as well. There was talk about handheld, which has got people excited. There's talk about maybe an Xbox refresh coming up, which people were getting excited about. The games they're releasing, people are getting excited about. Indiana Jones got really critical praise. Um,
Eurogamer's Game of the Year.
Game of the year. So it's finally like sort of kicking off, and at that precise moment, they're seeing they want to go multi-platform with all their first party games, which seems really silly because like Xbox Game Pass, even people been like even their rivals have been saying it's a really good option for people to have, and it like PlayStation doesn't have an equivalent. Their live games are doing well, which PlayStation hasn't been doing well. They speaking of PlayStation, they've cancelled another game that was rumored to be in development. The new Horizon Zero Dawn um live service game.
I think they
I think
killed a God of War live service game as well.
I think they've had like a, a plethora of like cancelled games that were in development. There's been some studio closures. So it's not looking too good for PlayStation in terms of their first party output this year. It hasn't been for the last couple of years. Obviously, they've had remasters, but that's just remasters of their old game. Well, not even old games, really. Like just the games they've had. They've just been remastering. That seems to be what they have. Their strategy is this last couple of few years is just to remaster everything again and again and remake everything. So yeah, it seems like this is
Easy money, isn't it?
yeah, finally like Xbox are getting some recognition. All this like acquisitions and everything has seemed to be finally paying off. Even like PlayStation fans, some hardcore PlayStation fans online have been saying, "Yeah, I'm gonna like get Game Pass because it's just like they got their games coming on day one on Game Pass while we have to pay $70 for it." So it seems like it's they're finally doing something right, and now they're like, yeah, we're hoping that people will buy our hardware and play our games on there, but they'll be like,
Keep
well,
hoping.
no, it's PlayStation still leads the way for the hardware. Maybe they're seeing something we can't see in the future. You know,
God
hardware is
knows
going to
what it
be a thing.
is.
Hardware is going to be a thing of the past. Everything's just going to be on PC. Maybe that's just the way things are going. We even got a good friend of ours who was just an ardent like PlayStation um uh, uh sort of fanboy.
And
Yeah, and now he's bought a PC. He's seen the likes of Steam. He's got a gaming PC and he's been playing that quite a lot. I was online on Steam the other yesterday, and he was online playing. What was he playing? One of the new Sniper Elite, one of the Sniper Elite games. I was like, there he playing that. So, you know, maybe like consoles are sort of on their way out in general because like even the PS Pro hasn't been doing too well. You know, they've not been selling major units, and the benefits of having paying out that money has not been that great. And you have to, and they seem to be want to be going digital. They, you know, they had a disc sort of
Add-on,
add on which cost an extra.
expensive add-on.
Yeah, so maybe maybe Nintendo will be the only pure console company in the future. Maybe PlayStation and Xbox will just eventually just turn into like a
Branded
PC
PCs.
PCs. Yeah.
Maybe, but I
Um,
mean, I think it's far too early for them to be completely deprioritizing their console, which is where the majority of their player base is.
mhm,
It's where the vast majority, like something like 90% of Game Pass subs are console subs.
mhm.
Um, and they're very, very intent, apparently, on killing all that for some reason that we can't see. Um, I just don't get it. And it's like you say, they're doing a lot right at the moment in terms of software. Third party support is probably the best it's ever been on the platform. We have all the Yakuza games now. We have all the Persona games. Got Shin Megami Tensei on there. You never thought you'd have like mainline Atlas games on Xbox, but here we are. The Tales of series has come back after Vesperia being the only game on the system. Now I have four boxed Tales of games on Xbox, which is very cool. Um, the Mana series is there. Final Fantasy is supposedly coming back at some point, which again is another thing some insiders were hinting at for the Dev Direct.
Yeah,
A
they
few
haven't.
of them seemed um, convinced that they were going to announce Final Fantasy 16 and 7 remake for Xbox at this thing. I guess it's not the forum for it because the point is to like show a game in depth and let the devs talk about their game, which there's no point doing that for ports of games that are like years old at this point. But it does make you think. Like it's been said, Nate Drake has got a good Nate the Hate. He's got a good track
Mm.
record, and he said they're definitely happening. And he speculated that we might see him in the Dev Direct. But it does make you think, like, when are they going to get announced? I mean, I know they could just drop them on a random Tuesday in a blog post. It doesn't need to be a big thing, but it just makes me think, when the hell are they going to announce these things? But anyway, main point is third party support is better than it's ever been, and yet Microsoft seems to be just throwing in the towel. It's frustrating. I don't get it.
Mhm, mhm.
It's way too early to be trying to deprioritize console at this point. Maybe the future is, the console business does seem to be kind of, at the very least, not growing. That's obviously hitting Xbox a lot harder than it is PlayStation, but PlayStation's obviously thinking about the future as well, which is why they signed 12 service games or had 12 in development. I think something like eight of them have been cancelled at this point.
Been like 10,
Um,
maybe. I'm pretty
mm,
sure I saw somewhere like 10, or maybe they're including studios. I don't know, but there was like,
the vast majority of them have been canned anyway. It's the main
uh,
thing.
I think
So
they
they'll
got,
probably just,
I think they got burnt by Concord because Concord
oh
was
yeah,
such a
definitely.
colossal
That's a
flop.
historic flop,
Yeah, so it's one of the
which
worst
is,
flops ever for such a high profile game that they spent a lot of money on. Was it like
mm,
something like 400 million? Something
I
ridiculous
think
like that.
someone was throwing around 300 million, but I don't know. I don't know if proper numbers have came out or anything. But I mean, it was in development for a long time and a
Mm.
expensive part of the US to pay workers and everything. So it wouldn't have been cheap. Um, Since it's a shame because I watched some video of it. There's a guy he's mainly like an Overwatch YouTuber and he played it a bit and I watched him play it. I think it looks quite fun. But that's the thing. You need to have something to hook people off of the games they were already playing at this point, and that game apparently didn't have that something. But it seemed like a perfectly competent multiplayer shooter. But yeah, but I think Sony are probably going to start pivoting away from that and kind of focusing on their core first principles, like single player AAA games. Um, it seems like
Yeah,
their live service push has been a massive failure and cost
yeah,
them
but
years of development time.
That's what, but yeah, like unfortunately, live service games make the most money. They do. They
If
make the
they're a
most.
hit.
If they're a hit, they make they. It's like printing money. You only have to look at games like Fortnite. That just prints money. So they're trying to. I know both Xbox and PlayStation are trying to find that next sort of big live service games where they can just keep the core game out and just keep updating it every so often. I know Sea of Thieves has done really well, and obviously that's on PlayStation now, and that just keeps getting built on. And that's the we keep saying it. The way it started, it got ridiculed to shit, and now it's one of the better sort of live service games. They always said a new pirate game will come in and
Skull and Bones.
yeah,
Skull and Bones is going to come out and kill it.
doesn't hasn't
Still
happened.
waiting.
Still waiting
I
for
think
that to
Sea of
happen.
Thieves is 10 years old this year as well, I think. I'm pretty sure it was
It's
2015 that came out.
it's still going. It's still got a good player base. Still popular. So never write off a game, especially like a new IP like that. And its whole point was to be a live service game, and they always said they were going to add to it. So I'm glad. I'm happy for them that they've grown so much. But yeah, it's I know we were talking about get the Dev Direct. We've gone on about the multi-platform. We've gone about like PlayStation canceling a lot of like live service games. I think they had a they was it like a Days Gone. They I know they had the Last of Us multiplayer that they cancelled. There's I think they had it. Wasn't there like a Days Gone or something like that? They were gonna thinking of it wasn't a sequel. It might have been an
I don't
online.
know.
I know they had like a lot of. There was a Spider-Man multiplayer game that they were going to do that's cancelled. But yeah, like AAA games are expensive. Expensive. I know it takes a long time, and it's a lot of resources, a lot of money's been spent on to make a big AAA single player game. Yeah, more. Yeah, like PlayStation, Xbox are trying to find that Fortnite sort of game that
The
will
recurring
sell.
revenue.
Yeah, because it does sell. Like live service games does sell. Online games do sell. You like MMO or something like that will sell. A looter shooter will sell if
Well,
it's
the thing
good.
is, Sony had Helldivers that was doing really, really well, Helldivers 2, and then they shot it in the knees by
Yeah.
enforcing the PSN account, which then meant vast swathes of the world couldn't buy or play it.
Mhm.
And it's just like just stupid. And they've continued to do that with their PC ports. They've been even like shoehorning it into games that have been on PC for a while. You now need a PSN account, which now means large swathes of the world can't buy your game, which is just like, do they not want money?
Well, they like money. They really do. They like it so much, man. Who doesn't like money, especially in the games industry? The games industry is it's very hard to turn a profit. You gotta sell well because games are so expensive to make, and to that's why Xbox has sort of just given up with the marketing. They're like, bollocks, I can't be bothered to spend X amount of money on traditional marketing and advertising. But it is a
But then
shame.
that just means they sell less and make less money.
Well, you sort of got to make what's the old term to make money
Spend money to make money.
money, yeah.
They're doing
So
the opposite. Don't spend money to make less money.
well, they spent a lot on acquisition, so that's probably where most of their money went.
To be fair, they
But
weren't really advertising even before that. It's just they hadn't been
yeah,
doing proper advertising campaigns for years. The last one I can
uh,
remember them really going big on was Halo 5. And that's
I mean,
10 years old.
they go big? Well, was that them when did they go big on the new Call of Duty? They did advertise a lot.
They did, but I
That
think that was all
more
that would have
Activision.
been Activision, really, wouldn't it? Because all that's
Uh,
still in place, I think.
uh, uh,
And then I think Bethesda is still doing the marketing for Bethesda games.
mhm.
But even then, you didn't see like huge TV ads for Starfield that I can remember. They had a lot of like adverts on buses and stuff, though, which is more than Microsoft does.
Yeah, yeah.
But anyway, we're getting wildly off
Uh,
topic again. There's one thing I wanted to bring back to the Dev Direct. One thing I thought was good in terms of format was they started it off by saying all of these games are in Game Pass and all of them are play anywhere,
mhm.
which is very good. Like if you play on both Xbox and PC, as I do, and as I know you do as well. That's a big
Mm,
selling point. Play Anywhere is, like I've played Indiana Jones on my Series X, a little bit on my laptop and on my desktop, and my save just carries over. I don't have to pay for the game 3 times. So I'm glad they're doing that. They need to Play Anywhere needs to be more widely available in games, especially if they're trying to make this whole whatever the hell they're doing thing work. Games need to be able to follow you to whatever hardware. But yeah, that was one thing I in terms of the format of the Dev Direct, I thought was really good. Just start it off and say everything's in Game Pass,
mm.
everything's Play Anywhere, and obviously that includes the Ninja Gaiden games as well. So that was
Do
cool.
you do you think physical is dead? This will be a
I
last top. This will be like the last sort of topic we'll discuss, and then
I think
yeah,
unfortunately, at least as far as Xbox is concerned, it's basically dead. I don't mean
mm,
like third parties and stuff, because obviously third parties are still going to do it. Like Tales of Grace's F just came out like a week or so ago and got a physical on Xbox, which I bought. Um, but I think Xbox, for their own games, it's effectively dead. They don't seem to care. They're not doing South of Midnight, as I said. They're not doing Avowed. Who knows if Fable is even going to get a physical? Just have to wait and see. But I think it's going to be. I don't know. It's declining. There was a thing I saw yesterday or the day before about how it's physical in the US. I think is at like its lowest point in the last nearly 20 years or something. So I think it's going to end up being a niche thing the further we go. But I think Xbox have basically given up on it already.
they
And
want to
that's
be
that.
they want to be the Netflix of gaming.
Mm,
Uh,
I think that's sad because I like my physical games. I know you're kind of over it.
I am over it, to be honest. I don't think my room or my flat could take another generation of physical games. I've got so many. It's just it was like, where do I put them all? And then you end up like selling most of them. You know, even the bad ones, I find hard trying to depart with them because I was like, this is still a physical game. There's still a market out there for them. I think it's mostly the older generation, like people our
Mm,
age and slightly younger. I don't know if Gen Z are really bothered about. I could be wrong. I haven't, I don't speak for Gen Z, but I feel like that's who they're catering for, and they're more into the sort of the now, the things that they can have on their hand and just play it and download. It's all download. That's the way they've been brought up. With streaming
yeah,
services like Netflix, Amazon. That's how they've been brought up. That's all they know. We know the generation of Blu-rays and
they don't know about
DVDs.
VHS.
They don't know about any of that. They don't know about like collecting and stuff like that. They just have everything bang, bang on you. If they want to watch a film, bang, get an app, boom, watch it straight away. Don't have to go out anywhere, buy it, look at the art, or place a disc into a tray or anything like that. It's just that's how that's the generation. Who are we to say they're wrong?
Well,
That's
they're missing
there's
out on that new game smell.
I mean, yeah, maybe. I hopefully they'll still do collectors. You don't have to have a physical game, but some sort of incentive to buy something physical.
Mm.
Um, Hopefully
I think it's going to
they'll
end up
keep it
going the
alive.
way of like limited run, or be
Mm,
like, we'll do um, limited amounts of this game as like a special thing.
mhm.
But yeah, so yeah, here we go. Here's the thing I saw. Matt Piscatella, who's like a analyst in the games industry, says the rate of decline in US physical video game software spending accelerated in 2024. Spending on physical video game software in the US has been cut in more than half since 2021 and is now more than 85% below its 2008 peak. So in 2008, it was worth physical sales in the US were worth nearly $12 billion and
Mhm.
are now just under 2 billion. So
Mhm.
it's like I mean, he's put a bar graph up and it sort of goes like this up to 2008 and then it just goes boof straight through the floor. So yeah, I mean, it's like you say. I think newer generations are just they've been brought up on just digital distribution for everything, whereas we've kind of grown up with physical stuff and then sort of seen the launch of digital distribution. But I mean, I like my physical games, but I don't really buy CDs anymore. I buy the occasional vinyl if it's like a band I care about. Films, same deal. Like I'll buy a 4K Blu-ray if it's a film I really love. But most of the stuff I'm watching on like digital, um, TV, the same. So
Hmm.
it's really games are kind of the outlier for me in that sense. But yeah, it's
Hmm.
just I don't know. I think it probably goes back to when I was a kid and used to get like one game a year and used to treasure it. And now just like sort of having a game and holding it in your hands, being able to look at the artwork and stuff still has similar appeal for me. But I think it's
That's
going to become a smaller and smaller slice of the pie.
that's why films, there's less stock in having films out in cinema.
Mm.
Um, the film times are having shorter run times in cinemas. Not
Yeah.
like because every big film, not just the blockbusters, used to have a used to be on cinema. You had to go to cinema, and then they will have a life afterwards. Like it'll become like a cult hit. Like say like the Austin Powers first one. No one saw that in the cinema. It's only till it came out on physical release on VHS or DVD that it got a second light wind, and people started what was going. Hey, this is film's great, and then the sequel was a massive on in the cinema. It sold a lot. It's
Mm.
kind of like that now with video games. It's like the market seems to be more sort of something coming out on physically. It's more for digital, and that's how films are now as well. The film tends to go on streaming, and people don't really. If the film flops in the cinema, it's pretty bad, but it could have a second life on a streaming service. Or some films just skip
Yeah.
streaming or to get cinema altogether and just go straight to a streaming platform.
And
Like they
the
like
gap between cinema and like release is so much shorter these days as well. Like back in the
yeah.
day, it used to be like going on a year before you could buy a film on VHS after it
Mhm.
had been in the cinema. And now it's like it's in the cinema and like 3 weeks later now it's on Disney Plus. And
Uh-huh.
it's like
That's it. Yeah, it's the world. That's the world. How the world moves. Digital has made everything much quicker. You want that piece of media, just get it now. And that's how it is with some games, man. Like, why spend so much money getting all your games printed out globally, where you could just download it digitally, and that's it.
I
It's
think the
just, it's
thing
just
for
an
me,
easier way.
another reason why I prefer physical over digital is that digital is more expensive, which is completely backwards.
It should be
Like at
cheaper.
least here in the UK, physical releases are usually at least 10 quid cheaper than
Mhm.
digital. So if you're buying, say, like as a big month and you buy 4 games, you're paying like 40 quid over the odds for nothing.
Mm.
It should be the other way around. They should be cheaper on digital because you're not getting a physical thing.
You're
It
just
costs
paying for
more to make a physical game,
you're
but
just
you're
paying
paying
for
less
the
for it.
you're just paying for the game itself, not the packaging and,
Yeah,
and
which
all
is
the
the
art.
most important part, to be fair, but
Mm.
still, why are you paying less for more
It's a shame because like
or more or
this
less?
we could have done a podcast on this, but like when you used to get a game, you used to have the booklet, the map, and everything in it, and all the list of the characters and stuff, and all the
Mm,
small little backstory and synopsis of the game and the world you were in, and all this cool artwork. You used to get this big little this little manual or booklet inside the packaging. And then when we were getting older, we always noticed that it was getting smaller and smaller until it was just like a little piece of paper with a code in it or something like that, where you
yeah.
can just do you know what I mean? Or
And
like
now
a little
it's like one
picture.
sheet of paper with like
Yeah,
terms and conditions on it.
exactly. That's all it is now. And just the game, the physical game. That's all. But there you are, man. We talked about the dev direct, the death of physical media, Sony's PlayStation's closing studios, Xbox going multi-platform. We've done it all today.
Switch
We've
two's
done it all.
underwhelming announcement.
It was really, and I'm not. It just I I can't be the only one who just saw it. It just looks like an Excel switch. It's like, is that it?
Yeah.
There's not
I
much
mean, like you, I haven't
difference.
touched my Switch in like 3 years, but I'm still
Mm.
interested in the Switch too. I want to see what it's got to offer. But that was just like, here's what it
Even
looks
the
like. Come back in 3 months. It's like, oh,
even the
okay,
controller's
fine.
the same. The controller, like you just
Yeah,
take it off, attach it to that controller,
they're
and it just looks
magnetic
the same.
then this time
Yeah,
instead of on rails. That's the change.
Is that going to be better?
They're still detachable controllers, so
what happens
effectively
if the
the same thing.
What happens when the magnets go? Well, they won't go, but you know, I mean, something happened. But yeah,
Then it just falls apart in your hands.
It's like, oh, poo. Um, I don't know if how powerful they can make that. Is it going to be
Well,
powerful?
this is what everyone wanted to know, and they didn't tell us
Mm.
anything. So
Because it does it looks slightly bulkier, but what's the internal storage? What's that going to be? Yeah,
hopefully not
so
32 gig again, because that ain't going to cut it. That didn't cut it in 2017.
yep, really didn't. But yeah, that's the episode today. Thanks for watching and thanks for listening. If you've been listening on Spotify or any other good um podcast platform apart from Apple Music. Boo Apple Music. We're
Boo
not
Tim
gonna
Apple.
yeah, boo you, Tin Apple, boo this person. But yeah, thanks for watching, thanks for listening. And again, we will be uploading like gaming stuff. We're not just a podcast
At
and
some
vlog
point.
and vlog channel. Yeah, so yeah, we'll be seeing everyone in well, we'll probably have a podcast out before LAGC because that's on the 21st of February.
Jumping way ahead there.
Jumping way ahead, man. I'm just but yeah,
Living in the
thanks.
future.
Anything else coming up in terms of like we've had the direct, anything else?
Not that I'm aware of, other than the next Nintendo Direct for the Switch 2, which is out in April sometime. That's a fair way off.
That's a way
Don't think
away.
there's anything else on the horizon that I can
No,
think of.
no PlayStation.
They don't seem to
So
do much in the way of like state of plays these days, do they? They seem to do
yeah,
like a couple a year.
no Xbox showcase. No,
I think
nothing
they
like
do a
that.
partner preview every now and then, don't they? But I don't know. I don't think anyone's been announced.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because like you said, they keep talking about play Final Fantasy coming out on Xbox. I know the new Final Fantasy 3 7 Rebirth or whatever, the part 3, they said the story's almost done and they hinted at that it's not going to be exclusive to PlayStation. I can see what they're going to do. They're going to announce that, and if it does come at multi-platform on Xbox, then the other two will come out. They're just waiting for the last bloody game to come out. And I always said that they were good. That's something they could do. Just wait until like the final games comes out, and then have it
Yeah.
multi-platform.
I mean, that's what I was thinking as well. But that Nate the Hate guy has said 7 Remake has come in this year and Rebirth next year.
uh-huh.
And obviously, the third one isn't going to be until like 2027 at the earliest.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they'll be out before. It's just when. So I guess we just have to wait and see. But I want 16 as well. That's the one I want more because I played 7 Remake and didn't much like it. Whereas 16 I actually want to play.
You
So
are
hurry up with the damn announcement.
just let's just come on, just do it, do it.
Do it. What are you
Why
waiting
don't you do it
for?
for? I'm right here. Let's
Come
go.
on.
Do it. But yeah, if you want to hear more of our impressions, subscribe to our YouTube channel and check us out on Twitch for streaming once our mum leaves and I can stream in peace. Yeah, and thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll see you guys next time. Say bye, Rose.
See you, pals.
Yeah. Doom, doom, doom.